3 in the morning. A man sits alone in the dark, and the only light left in his life is a screen showing a single number. 0. Not almost broke, not a rough month. 0. Down to the last cent. Years of savings, gone. And worse, money that was never his, borrowed on nothing but his word, gone with it. His phone is dead, cut off for unpaid bills, and behind it wait messages he can't make himself open. This is average Joe. That night he sat right at the edge, in the kind of dark you never leave a man alone with, certain there was no road back. So let me hit rewind, because not long ago, this exact guy was just your neighbor. Dull job, one harmless little dream. Throw in a bit of cash, get rich by Friday. No casino, no flashing machines, no chips. Just clean charts and a respectable word, investing. Take a good look at his face. Over the next 10 minutes, you'll watch the money he swore was easy strip away every single thing he owned. And it all starts with one mistake so small, he'd have laughed if you'd tried to warn him. Let's get one thing straight. The man you just met didn't gamble. Ask him, he'd swear it. Gambling is neon lights and sad man feeding coins into a machine. What he did had charts, analysis, a dashboard glowing in 3 colors, and a word that sounds like an honest job. Investing. That's the smoothest lie the whole business ever sold. Peel off the suit and the clever vocabulary, and you're staring at the same casino. It just went to college and learned to say, portfolio. Here's the tell nobody wants to hear. A real investor is boring. He parks his money, forgets the password, checks it twice a year, and sleeps fine. The other kind can't sit still for a minute, tapping buy, tapping sell 40 times before lunch. And not one of those taps is really about the money. It's about the jolt. You win, something lights up behind your eyes and begs you to do it again. That isn't a strategy. It's a slot machine wearing a necktie. And no, the market never reached out and ruined anyone. Nobody gets dragged to this table. That's the quiet horror of the whole thing. Every last person here strolled in on their own 2 feet and pulled up the chair themselves. So let's rewind to the very first time our guy sat down, because the moment that sealed his fate didn't feel like losing at all. It felt like winning. So rewind all the way to the start, back when average Joe was nobody special. A guy with a job he tolerated, a paycheck gone by the 25th, and one modest dream. Turn a little spare cash into a little more, ideally by Friday. He swore up and down he wasn't the addicted type. That was for the fools in the group chats, not for a level-headed man like him. So he opened an account the careful way, put in a small amount just to see how it works, and promised himself he could walk away the second he wanted to. Then, the worst thing that can happen to a beginner happened. He won. His very first trade turned green. No fortune, but in 20 short minutes, he'd made more than a full shift at his job. And something deep in his skull lit up and whispered that he'd just found a cheat code to life. Clocking in tomorrow suddenly felt like a scam only suckers fall for. He was thrilled and completely clueless, because that tiny, easy win would turn out to be the most expensive trade he ever placed. He didn't win money that day. He won a ticket through the door. And on the other side of it, the house was already sharpening the rules he'd never once bothered to read. Every casino hands you a rule book. This one just buries it in fine print nobody reads, so let me read it out loud, since our guy clearly didn't. Rule 1. Leverage. The house lets you play with money you don't have. Drop in $1, bet like it's 50. Win and you feel like a god. Lose, and a single twitch of the chart wipes you out before your coffee's even cold. Rule 2. The Whisperers. Signal channels and telegram prophets don't sell you profit, they sell borrowed confidence. They flash the one trade that hit and quietly bury the 10 that didn't, so it looks like everyone at the table is cashing in but you. Rule 3. The leaderboards. Those percent tournaments never crown the smartest man in the room. They crown the most reckless, the clown who shoved it all onto one bet and got lucky exactly once. And every rookie watching writes that dumb luck down as a lesson. See the pattern? Every rule shoves you the same direction. Bet bigger, move faster, think less. The house doesn't even need you to lose. It just needs you to keep sitting there, skimming its cut, whether you win or bust. So take a good long look around that table, because our guy wasn't the only fool who pulled up a chair that day. and the rest are about to introduce themselves, one sorry face at a time. Before we watch one man's whole life come apart, meet the crowd he sat down with, because he was only one flavor of the same sickness. Exhibit A, the rookie. You spot him by the eyes, wide and shining, lit up like a kid on Christmas morning. His origin story is always that exact same clip. Some guy leaning on a rented supercar, swearing he quit his job and lets the market pay his rent now. The rookie swallowed every word, bought a course called the Grail for a suspiciously round price, installed the terminal that same night, and got straight to picking the color of his future car. He doesn't risk the spare change. He risks all of it, the vacation fund, next month's rent, and sometimes a card that isn't even his. The instant a trade ticks green, he's not lucky, he's a prophet. And the market has finally figured out who's boss. Risk management. Never met the woman. 10x by Friday. Easy money. He's the most common animal in this whole zoo, and the most doomed, because nearly every story in here opens on those exact shining eyes, our heroes included, back on day one. But the rookie only ever gambles what he actually owns. The next exhibit found a way to gamble money that never existed in the first place. So what does a man do when his own money runs dry, but the itch is still screaming? Easy, he invents more. Meet Exhibit B, All-In Al, the guy who bets cash that never existed until a bank agreed to pretend it did. Al lives by one gospel: patience is a scam. The word slowly makes his skin crawl. Why crawl toward rich over 10 dull years when one perfect trade could land you there by the weekend? So he goes all in, every single time, maximum leverage, right down to the last coin. And when the account hits zero, the real circus starts. A loan from a buddy, just till Tuesday, then a credit card, then a second card to feed the first, then a lender kind enough not to ask questions. The debt climbs and Al just shrugs. One big win, he swears, and he clears the whole tab in an afternoon. That little safety switch that shuts a trade down before it bleeds you dry, he treats it like a personal insult, a gadget built for cowards who don't believe in themselves. Because Al got lucky once, loud and enormous, and somewhere in his skull, I got lucky, quietly rewrote itself into, I'm gifted. Spoiler for the cheap seats, those trembling cowards with their safety switches are exactly the ones who walk out of here still standing. Al always reaches the very same stop, and it always comes for him mid-trade, right when he's never felt more certain. But give him this much, at least Al knew he was gambling. Our next exhibit paid good money for the privilege and swore up and down that it made him a professional. Now for the exhibit that really gets under your skin. The funded wannabe. And what makes him so insufferable is that he's dead certain he's the serious one in the room. He looks down on the rookie. He's a professional now, thank you very much. Here's the hustle. He paid an entry fee for a prop challenge, hit a target on a practice account, and the firm supposedly hands you real money to trade. So he pays up, gets his pretend account, and sprouts an invisible crown on the spot. Not some hamster clicking buttons anymore. He's basically Wall Street. One catch. The strategy he's running was downloaded, for free, from the same Telegram channel the rookie follows. He wins 2 days straight and knights himself a master. The profits are painted on a demo screen, the fee came out of his very real wallet. And this is attempt number 5. He blew the last 4 right at the finish line, every time blaming the platform, the spread, the weather, anything but himself. A professional stuck on a probation that never ends. An internship that costs a full paycheck, paid again and again for the sweet privilege of feeling like a trader without ever once becoming one. And that's the whole freak show. 3 men, 3 flavors of the exact same disease. Now here's the part that stings. Our hero wasn't just one of them. He carried a little piece of all 3 inside him. So let's pull him back under the spotlight and watch exactly how high this genius could climb, right before the floor gave out. For a while, oh, it was glorious. The bets got bigger, the account swelled, and right beside it swelled the one thing more dangerous than any loss, the quiet certainty that he was gifted. He started firing profit screenshots into the group chats, handing down wisdom to the newbies with a little smirk, fully convinced the market had knelt down and chosen him, personally, to win. That was the summit. Take a good look at him standing up there, because he never stood that tall again. Then, on one perfectly ordinary afternoon, the mirror flipped, A losing trade. Then another. The green he'd gotten so cozy with turned a hard, ugly red. And where a sane man closes the laptop and walks away, the tilt strolled in instead. That hot, blind fury, that childish need to have it all back this very second. So he bet again. Bigger. Then bigger still. When his own money ran dry, he reached for the borrowed kind, humming the same anthem every single soul at this table hums sooner or later. I'll win it back. Just one good trade. By sunrise, he was a king, screenshots and all. By nightfall, a silent man staring at phone calls he couldn't make himself answer. Back and forth, higher and lower, the swing growing wider and crueler with every passing day. And right as the last of his borrowed money slipped through his fingers, a smiling stranger stepped up to his shoulder. A warm handshake, a soft voice, a promise to make all of it right again. Our hero, going under fast, grabbed that hand with both of his. He had no idea it belonged to the most dangerous animal in this entire zoo. And this is where all of it finally caught up with him. That same 3 in the morning we opened on. First went the money. Every last cent of it. The savings scraped together over years, gone in weeks. And dragging behind it the borrowed money. Cash he'd taken on nothing but a promise from people who trusted his face. But money, believe it or not, was the smallest thing he lost. The sleep went first. Because there is no sleep when numbers are sprinting laps around the inside of your skull, one question pounding on repeat. How do I get it back? Then the friends drifted off. The ones he'd stopped answering, the ones he'd dodged one too many times. Then the people closest to him, worn down by a solid year of, "It turns around next week, I swear." And somewhere underneath all of it, the man himself quietly vanished. That ordinary guy with the small, harmless dream from the start of this story. You'd look for him and just not find him anymore. What was left was a mountain of debt and a very quiet, very dark room. And here's where I put the jokes down for good. Because those funny little red candles on a screen are somebody's sleepless nights, somebody's lies told straight to the faces they love, and that hollow, airless kind of hopelessness where a person becomes convinced the exits have all been bricked over. That's exactly where he sat that night, certain it was finished, certain there was no way back. And he was wrong, dead wrong. There was one thing he still had left, one thing he was too far gone to see in the dark, and it's the single most important thing in this entire video. So if you're the one caught in the spiral right now, can't stop, drowning in debt, sitting in the dark, certain every exit is sealed, hear me clearly. That's not weakness, and it's not the end. It's a place people walk out of every single day. Put the screen down. Say it out loud to someone. Call a helpline. One phone call has pulled more people back from the edge than any winning trade ever has. But before any of that, here's the one thing he couldn't see in that dark room. The thing that outweighed every zero glowing on that dead screen. He was still there, still breathing. Broke, buried, hollowed out, but alive. And that turns out to be the only number on the whole board that ever mattered. Because this is the truth the entire video was built around. Money comes back. Every dollar that chart swallowed can be earned again, paid down bit by bit, clawed back over a year or two. All of it is recoverable. All of it except one thing. And that one thing is worth more than any account, any win, any figure your brain can conjure at 3 in the morning. So if this reached you, or reached someone you love, don't just scroll past. Hit subscribe so the next person sitting in front of a dead screen finds this in time. And tell me down in the comments, have you ever pulled up a chair at this casino in a suit? Your story might be the exact thing that stops someone else from placing their last bet.